Westminster are dead. The press reports on Chanel with waning interest, while reporters may attend each new collection
Hi.
showing out of politeness.
I'm going to
Primarily focus
go over some stuff, and then we're going to try to finish this little teaching deal. But I want to kind of fill you in on what's going on with this 3A Atlas. Pretty wild. I guess they got our world to become a transmitter of some kind. And it's all about all these, I think there's 18 planets or something. These are, like I say, we're not alone. And as we know, the reason why this is so, the reason why I'm here and the reason why many people are here is to see the evolution of mankind. As far as I know, I was told that that evolution is in me. I guess that means like somewhere in my DNA, it's got something to do with the consciousness of mankind. We are going from living in the 3D, in our consciousness, the regular world, and going to a 5D consciousness. I guess, hold on just a second. Hold on.
On January 10th, 1971, Chanel lays down.
Anyhow. So that's where we're getting to, and in the old days, old town religion and stuff, most people, other countries were more advanced than we were, but we thought we had it down, but we didn't. The fact that when we leave this planet, when we pass away, that's not a death. It's a death for our bodies here on Earth, but our consciousness goes on, and you've got ancestors to your lineage, and there are angels who are here all the time. We just can't see them because they're not the same. They're not in the same, realm that we are. But, they see us, we don't see them. They have a different frequency that they're on. So, that's what we're doing. When I tell you that we're evolving to that 5D, which is like in the ethers, which is where basically things happen there and then they happen here. We're kind of like living in a matrix, if you've ever seen that movie. We're kind of like that. Now, I guess these other civilizations will come out and they're going to somewhat make the earth what's the word? A classroom for mankind, so that we can get up to par. We're like way behind other species of humans, you know. I don't know why that is, or whether the last one's made or what, you know, but I see it. Actually, I called it right whenever I saw this thing and watched the way it was carrying on. I called it right. See, when God came to me, He told me that this is where we were going with our consciousness. You know, we all live under grace, and you know, we get mercy and whatnot. And that's all. You know, that's part of it. But that's a very small part of it, actually. See, we're part of God's family, and so are they. So we need to be caught up, you know. And whenever I asked God, why are we doing that? He told me to stop the wars. It's just, nobody's gonna argue with that. I mean, there are many civilizations out there, planets, who actually, I hear 22, that actually destroyed themselves. Which is, we're not close. If we don't watch out, we could do that too. And I hope that's not the case. I don't know what's all's going to happen here, but I'm sure if I learn anything from all the warfare, the spiritual warfare that I've gone through in the time I've been woke up, then my guess is there will be those who will try to stop this from happening. I don't think they want it that way, and that, like, secret societies, or people that call themselves elite, probably won't like it, because they will lose a lot. Excuse me. Oh, shit. Well, you suckers. Well, that's a hell of a good idea. I just, candle wax. I had a candle burning there. Looked like it was gonna melt down to nothing. Okay. Anyway, but so that's what I wanted to tell you, that what we've got. I mean, I talked to my grandmother, grandfather. I usually have to have a channeler to do that, because I don't know how to do that, But I do know how to talk to God. We've got, and I'm not talking to people in the spiritual community who know this stuff. But a lot of people that go to church and stuff, they are more about, I guess, the reverence of God and whatnot. And he's reverent. We're reverent. He's reverent. He's like very reverent to us too. Don't get us wrong. But the fact is that God wanted us to have a relationship with Him, and He gave us the tools to do it. Inside your head there, you've got what's called the pineal gland, and that is kind of like your transmitter when you pray. That's the thing that does it. That's where that thing links to God, or to that place in heaven, to His throne, or whatever, and that's how you communicate with God, right? So, I mean, we actually have that built into us. Kind of funny, huh? But those of us who don't believe in God, well, I can tell you, I've met God in a few occasions. He explained a lot of things to me. Things that, you could have told me back when I was younger, this stuff, and I would have told you you're full of shit. But that's because I came up believing what the churches told me, and a lot of people out there right now are like that. But the fact of the matter is that it's a lot deeper than that. It's a lot deeper than, Jesus did come, and He did save us, because there are laws in heaven, even laws in heaven that supersede man's laws and, the earth's laws. And so, like I said, the wages was sin or death. And so we did have to have somebody come, because human beings are, well, somehow we're kind of defective, but I say that, but really and truly, we're just human beings, and God built us, and that's the way we came out. So He had to give us a way to live, because nobody who's a human being can live without a sin, And one is as big as 10, That's the way it is. Those are the rules, and that's why we come to Earth to study. And karma is a way that you get the rewards of whatever way you're going. You can have bad karma, good karma. You know what I mean? And that comes with whatever we do on this planet. What we're learning. When we come to this planet, we're born in, and at that point, when we come through the veil, we're born into the veil, of course, but our consciousness comes with us. But really and truly, if you've noticed, babies, they're kind of dead to the world when they're first born. It's their brains and their parts have to catch up, so that and then one day you notice that they can see you and they're smiling at you or whatever, But for a while, they're just, all they care about is doing exactly what they need to do, and that is to sleep and eat and all the little functions that go with it, And meanwhile, while they're doing that, their body is, catching up to a point where they can actually somewhat think, We call it waking up to the world. So, anyway, so you want to kind of start kind of getting the idea of some of the ways you've learned will have to be kind of upgraded, you know what I mean? So that yes, Jesus is God to us, and He came because the highest God sent Him, or you might say it was God who sent Himself, so that's kind of the way. He's a someone who came down, and He had powers way beyond what we have. I think, And they say that many people do far greater things than that. But I haven't seen it yet. But listen. God told me whenever He set me on this path, He said, you need to start believing that the impossible is possible. And from what I've seen so far, whatever these people are that are coming, and I don't know if they're going to get, maybe they'll come, some of them will come on the earth. Don't be afraid, but they don't mean us any harm. Fact is, they're probably going to do a lot to help us to become more of what we were intended to be. See, I mean, a lot of people who are watching this and they go on, I get the impression that some of them are kind of scared of it, but the truth be known, they're not coming to hurt us. They're coming to help us. And they have a lot to offer. Like medicine is like cancer can actually be a thing of the past. A flight that is faster than light speed, they've got that stuff going on. See, we had to reach to a certain goal, a certain point before they even looked at us. And that time was when we finally made it to the moon. We actually came from one world to a different one, you see. And then they've been watching to see if we're going to destroy ourselves, and so far we haven't. So, I hope that stays that way. These little wars that are going on, well, we don't need those, really. It's going to destroy the earth and destroy us. So really, we don't. We can do without those wars. You know what I mean? Anyway, so okay. Anyway, so let me think. Where was that? I mean, if you wonder about any of this stuff, there's that one scientist who's been going on and telling what all's happening, and he's pretty thorough about what he's telling about, and they're all here on YouTube, and it would be probably enlightening for you to go watch that, because I just want you to kind of know that our consciousness is evolving, okay? The world is evolving, and things will be probably done a little different, and if we pull this off well and we do the right things, and we really want to do that, because we'll get heaven on earth, and that's reality. That's real. When I say that to you, I'm telling you it's real. I am the torchbearer. I am the light. I carry God's light within me. Am I perfect? No, I'm not. Will I ever be perfect? Well, I work at it. You know what I mean? But I know I'm not perfect, and I probably never will be. I'm a human being just like the rest of you. At least while I'm here. And we live under grace, and as long as we don't go doing really stupid shit that, just being mean to people and carrying on and doing just greedy and nasty things to people, we can stay under grace and we'll be all right. You want to try to heal yourselves of, we all took a lot of trauma, and myself, I took a lot of trauma as a child, and all those things had to be dealt with going into this because, you know, if you fall down on your bicycle, and skin your knee, well, you got to kind of doctor that up, and get it to heal, right? So mama would do that, stick a band-aid on you, and next thing you know, you got a scab there, and then it went away. Well, that's kind of why your brain is too. Your subconscious and your consciousness. It gets damaged. You heard PTSD and stuff like that. Well, that's kind of the way it works. And so you want to go in there and so going through this little thing called I'm seized up here. What's going on here? There you go. Anyway, going through this healing thing, and it will rise your consciousness. And when you dream, that's kind of like the 4D, and 5D is what we're shooting for. And I mean, it's kind of a mandatory thing. I don't think that we're going to have. I don't know how long it takes to actually go into that 5D. Some will be faster than others. But, they'll start being babies, who are born with this. You know what I mean? And as far as I know, when they said all this evolution is in me, well, I'm guessing that somewhere in my DNA, it's in there. I know that I've been here as other people. I mean, see, and that's another thing. I wouldn't have believed you in a million years, but now I know that it's true that we do come back. If we have more to do here, we come back here. May come back as a girl, or I mean, if we're doing something that has to be done for the world, for this earth, and mankind, then of course we're going to come back as a human being. But I came back when I was a slave and was murdered. A lot of the light workers will tell you that a lot of them were actually burned at the stake and stuff like that, because, they were hanged as being witches or whatever it was, whatever the case might be, because mankind has had to evolve to get here. Now we're at this point that we're ready to do that and not go around killing people for it. And this is a God thing. It's not my idea. I'm just like you. We have to do this. Well, there's really no way to get out of it because it's evolution. Just like that old war that told us we came from the monkeys and the apes. Well, kind of we did. And I'm sure that we were seeded, in our final prototype. It was not to be just an ape. I mean, we did a lot of the evolving just as a matter of course. Right? So, but I think when Adam and Eve were made, it would seem to me that we got a little extra push on that deal, it just seems to me that you had your Neanderthals and you had your Cro-Magnons. Now, I don't know this for sure, but it just seems to me that somewhere something else was entered into us, and we became an enlightened being, you know what I mean? And that's the way Adam and Eve started out as enlightened beings. Now, of course, they screwed up, and did something that God told them not to do. But do I think that we were going to get there anyway, eventually? Yes, I do. I think that God always intended for it to give us the knowledge and stuff, but at this point they were young, and mankind was young, and it wasn't time yet. I mean, I've noticed that about God. When he says that it's ready, then it's ready. And until it was ready, things, well, he's going to say when it's ready. It's not our call. Just like the Tower of Babel's, they got pretty smart, and they were moving right along, and we had a whole global world working together, and thought they were going to build a tower that reached to heaven. Would they have ever been able to do it? I wouldn't surprise me. I mean, I'm sure that those people were, in ways, a lot just as advanced as we are. Before this flood came, I think that we had, and they may not have looked the same, or that advancement may not have been the same, but, or like with Atlantis and whatnot, I've heard told that people were, like doctors were using parts off of animals and things like that to do things to fix people. You know what I mean? I don't know how much truth there is to that, but I do know that you see some of the Egyptian gods who had different, like head of a jackal with what's that one guy's name? I can't remember. He's one of my ancestors. And then you had Hoth, who was some kind of a bird, on his head, and that's who he was. How did that come to be? I don't know, but they were pretty advanced in those ways. You see what I mean? They could put things like that together. I don't know, but it's one of the reasons why the Earth was destroyed, and because there were just things going on like that these watchers taught mankind, and along with weapons of war and makeup and things of the occult, you know what I mean? So those were things that we weren't supposed to learn yet. I mean, and we paid a pretty heavy price for it, So that may be why we're not as advanced as them. I don't know, and I haven't talked to God for a while. I mean, to where he would actually tell me things. He knows I asked a lot of questions, so. But he gave me enough wisdom to, discern a lot of things that I otherwise may not have known had I not gotten that wisdom, but it's probably a good idea to get us to this 5D, because mankind's doing some stuff now that could render us in trouble. So because there are some things that you just don't want to do, I think. But what we do need to do is this. We know the difference between right and wrong, and it's really very important that those of you who understand, what I'm saying is that it's very important that we are on our best behavior, because right now you don't see this Antichrist and all that stuff coming on. At some point maybe he will, but I'm hoping and I'm thinking that a lot of that can be foregone, because it really does depend on us and how we treat this earth, treat each other, and we can come out with a heck of a lot better outcome if we, don't go around stealing and, raping and pillaging and all this stuff that they may have done back in the old days. But, we are becoming more enlightened. And therefore, as a species, we need to start living like we are more enlightened. You know what I mean? So, and, the fact is that, back in the old days, you'd hear them and you'd think God was this guy ready to, throw us in a lake of fire. When we got there, we screwed up. He's really not like that. Let me tell you. I love that guy. And he's a lot more kind than we know, than we understand. And I'm telling you that from my own personal experience with him, because being God's chosen, I really was that guy, that one who actually gets to talk to God and stuff like that. And of course, I screw up too. Don't think I'm not saying that I'm any kind of a great guy, or I had any more knowledge than y'all do. I don't. Truth of the matter is, I probably screwed up more than you. But it's just that I was chosen, and I had that favor, and it's not. I don't go around acting like I'm better than anybody else, because I'm not. It was just that I had some some character things inside of my psyche. I had certain ways about me that were what was needed for this position, for this thing that I'm doing. Just like Moses did, or like that. So I'm to be the leader of this light workers and stuff, right? Well, I'm not the kind of leader that in the Marine Corps we call it leading from the front. Is the kind of way guy I am. I've always been that way. I mean, I wouldn't ask somebody to do what I wouldn't do. So I'm asking you to see where we're at in our history, in our evolution, and live according to it. And do the best you can to live a little better every day. Be a little better person than you were yesterday. That's kind of the way I do it. And sometimes I'm not better, and sometimes I am. We're humans, and nobody's going to throw us in the lake of fire when we screw up. Unless you're just being plain mean. Because intention is everything. What are you intended to do when you do some kind of sin? And let me tell you, love covers a multitude of sins. And it really does, If you're doing something and it's out of love, God sees that, So you're under grace, and I have to thank Him all the time. But thank you for the grace and the mercy, because there are probably 100 times just this year He probably could take me out, what I mean? So, but we are human beings, and we are His children, So I'm going to pray I've been praying a lot for mankind, because, we dodged a bullet here recently. And I hope that we can continue to dodge that bullet. So, I guess that's enough to be taught right now. But understand that at any time you can actually talk to your ancestors, and you can talk to the angels. Angels will not interfere in your life unless you ask them to. They're really not allowed to unless you ask them. You just ask them. Say, hey, angels, I need your help, and if you could help me out here and whatever, teach you something or get you in the right position or going the right way, And you have guides that are your ancestors, and hell, I had a guide as Mary Magdalene and Jesus before. They taught me things, when I was going through this ascension and all this. I'm an ascended master now, but believe me, when I walked in the gate, I didn't know anything about anything. I was just like, I was blind as a bat. It's all this stuff. So it's read the Word, read the Bible, but there are other things you can learn too. Things about things like from the I don't know what kind of books, but I've kind of looked at all the different religions and stuff, just to to have a kind of because listen, they've been fighting between these religions, the Jews and the Muslims and even the Christians for a long time, centuries. So I thought, check that out and read it, and I've read a little bit about it, and the truth of the matter is that we all serve the same God. The Muslims and the Jews both put guards out to guard the graves of Abraham and Isaac. They are very well protected because, hey, that's God. So, that's he was the father of many nations. So what I mean is looking at that stuff and kind of get interested in it, because it's going to come here and it's going to teach us these things, and that's something. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. They're not here to hurt us. Whether or not we'll see a lot of them or anything like that, I don't know. But I do know that we will get some, emissaries or dignitaries or something like that will teach us about stuff, And if we rise to the occasion, like I believe mankind has has it in to pull off, I think that Earth and mankind both will be better off for it. It sure beats watching the Earth get destroyed and mankind get destroyed, didn't it? So, anyway, think like that. God bless everybody, and I hope that you watch these. I'm not any kind of great speaker or anything like that, but I'm talking to you just like a person would, but not with a bunch of know-it-all, all that, but I just know where we're going and what it's going to do for us, and it's going to do a lot for mankind and the planet. Okay, so I guess that'll do it now. So anyhow, everybody, if you do come to, thanks for coming and listening to this. All you light workers should be awake by now, and you're here to help mankind. So get busy on it. It's time. It is our time. And God bless everyone tonight.